Gaming in 2024 isn't always easy. When your backlog stretches into oblivion and the next Steam sale drops, we're all guilty of making the same mistakes. From dumb free-to-play purchases to useless peripherals and expensive upgrades, these are the gaming problems that we're all guilty of one day or another. We got 10 examples, so let's get started off with number 10. The day one purchase. Look, we've all done it and we've all regretted it. Imagine you've been waiting years for your new favorite game to release, something that's just really hyped up for you personally. The minutes are ticking down. You've taken the day off work. Maybe you've skipped school. You've got all your favorite snacks ready for like the ultimate just chill day because you've purchased this new game digitally. You start the download on Steam, PS5, wherever else, and then the download time hits you. Not all of us have lightning fast internet, okay? We don't all have the luxury of like fiber optic. And when you're downloading your new game at midnight, you might not be able to play for a day. Even physical copies on disc require massive day one patches usually, slowing us down even more. After surviving a gauntlet of downloading, you're then thrown into the always online main menu and forced to endure another trial, trying to actually connect to the server while a million other people are doing the exact same thing. And if you somehow do all that, you're stuck with a game that was released too early, probably needs multiple patches, and you're playing a version of the game that will always be worse than the perfected version down the line. While all of that isn't always true for every game, a lot of it is common. We've all been through this scenario. If you've bought more than one video game in your life, especially modern video games, you felt that same desperation. You know, we bought too early. We pre-ordered. We're all too guilty of that mistake. Don't do it. Just be informed before buying. Now, next over at number 9, games today, of course, are packed with downloadable content. You know, weapon skins, cosmetics, playable heroes, or common drops that activate our collective gamer FOMO, or feeling of missing out. And nothing scratches that itch for some people quite like that cosmetic-only Battle Pass. The evil geniuses at Epic struck gold with the Fortnite Battle Passes, selling a mini-game within a game, tasking you with objectives and levels to unlock, all to earn skins and other random cosmetic bits you probably wouldn't buy otherwise. Some people really get hooked on these things, and fighting games are the worst. You feel like you need every character, you need every costume, especially for Mortal Kombat. Those character packs are sick. But the way they do it in these games, you know, opening the menus in a character select and seeing all the characters you don't have, it can really sting a part of your gaming brain.
I'm game if you are. I'm working hard every day to be a better man. If practice makes perfect, then I'm already a...
Some people just feel like they need to unlock that useless junk that serves no purpose and you'll never even use. Like, did you really need that costume of Leon wearing a cool gangster suit in Resident Evil 4? Yes, absolutely. But that pales in comparison to like the worst gamer problem of all in here. After, say, buying a premium battle pass, and I'm not saying you should, but if you do, you'll still end up probably being too busy with your backlog of games to play through it all. There's never enough time for games, and we're absolutely guilty of wasting money on downloadable content we'll never actually be able to play. Now, speaking of wasting money, at number 8, all those free games aren't going to download themselves. The Steam sale, the free games on the Epic Game Store, even if you don't like the platform, chances are you still probably get them anyway. The Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus games that they throw at you for low prices or sometimes free, it all just clogs up our precious hard drive space with untold terabytes of games we promise ourselves we'll get around to playing one day. Until the day comes, we've got to clear out out space and delete all those to make room for more games we probably won't get around to playing or finishing anytime soon. The cycle perpetuates itself, and new incredible games come out all the time. There's no way to keep up with them all, and there are so many games we'll leave installed hoping we find the time. Downloading a bunch of games or free games often feels more aspirational than a fun reward, and like if you're on Xbox Game Pass, you can't keep those games forever, even with a subscription. Just having too many games, I know, is the epitome of what people say like first world problems, but the gamer edition, and the problems are real. The backlog is only getting bigger with every new game release, and when there are way too many games to play, we'll end up just starting a new seed in Minecraft instead. You always go back to what's familiar, right? Next, over at number 7, where do you go? Games have been struggling with signposting before any of us were born. Leading you through a level and drawing your eye to the right spot is an endless fight that only gets harder for dev teams as games become more and more detailed and complicated. Games like Mirror's Edge use bright red objects to point which direction you need to run. Other games like Dishonored would use a big pointer to guide you towards your objective. Lots of new games are going the other route. They're doing yellow paint all over everything. Games like Star Wars Outlaws, the Resident Evil 4 remake, and even Final Fantasy VII Rebirth all use this kind of yellow paint to mark objects you can interact with in the environment. It's so common that lots of players are kind of getting annoyed at the practice, or at least pointing it out. Some games actually let you turn off these signposting features at least. But believe it or not, when that stuff is off, we're all getting lost immediately. Call it a skill issue, call it bad observational skills, but these games were often designed with a lot of that indicator, that yellow splatter, in mind. Games like Dishonored are fun to explore without the big map marker, but other games quickly become nightmare exercises as we struggle to figure out what little bumps in the wall you can climb on and what you can. What you can hop over, or maybe what you can break. Turning off visual aids makes for a more immersive experience, but getting completely lost in a place that wasn't designed for you is basically the realistic experience of wandering around a forest. If you love getting completely lost, turn everything off and enjoy rubbing into walls until you find the way forward. Next, over at number 6, by their nature, computers have one major advantage over consoles. You can upgrade them very easily. Anything that's in a tower case can be pulled out, removed, and upgraded with a little bit of technical knowledge and, a bunch of cash. Installing more RAM, more hard drive space, or new graphics cards is easy when you get the hang of it and you kind of know what you're doing. And after buying a brand new GeForce RTX 4090, instead of loading up the most graphically intensive games ever made, sometimes you just end up sticking with the old stuff, the stuff you always go back to. Let's see the blistering frames per second we'll get on Doom. No, not Doom Eternal, we're talking the original Doom from '93. And when Doom is too system intensive, maybe we'll load up like Chrono Trigger on Steam. We keep going back to the old standby games, even after spending $2,000 on the best graphics card imaginable. Gotta get those extra few frames out of something old like Counter-Strike, right? And to top it all off, we'll often install all these old games on an SSD where that extra speed doesn't really do anything to help the performance, but it feels nice moving those files around so fast at least. Next, over at number 5, some games are easy to start but hard to keep going. Games like Witcher 3, Fallout 4, even something like Elden Ring drop you into a big world to explore and let you go any direction you want to go. Then you forget what you were doing after being distracted for 2 months and have to start from the beginning. One of the latest and best examples of this phenomenon is Baldur's Gate 3, a game with an extensive character creator and lots of choice in the early chapters, but it's so long that if you take an extended break, you'll literally have no idea what you're doing now if you jump back in. What are the best items? What are the best spells? I don't remember. What are we doing? It's time to start over. These types of games are often so stifling with choice. Like they're easy to get lost and need to start over. But then you've got new games like Mario Wonder or Kirby and the Forgotten Kingdom. Instead of progressing the game, we're stopping to unlock every single collectible in every level. Maybe you're doing it in Astrobot right now. You might think it saves you time, but like once you're done with the starting zone, you're so exhausted and sick of the game. You just move on to the next thing. It's a cruel cycle. We need those collectibles and someone's gonna have to collect them eventually, right? Now for number 4, creating your own character is a gaming rite of passage. Sure, you can pick the default character at the start of your next 100-hour plus RPG, but what's the point if you don't customize every atom of your hero? They're a representation of you in the world, either who you feel, who you want to be, like whatever. So obviously, the more time you spend making them, the better you'll be at the game, right? No, it doesn't make any sense. So why do we spend hours and hours in Dragon's Dogma 2 adjusting how long our character's nose hair is? It doesn't matter what the main character looks like, but we demand infinite customization to make them just right anyway. And the customization isn't the only part that's a problem. Take, again, Baldur's Gate 3. You've got so many choices of species and classes and character histories. Baldur's Gate 3 has a lot to choose from, but games like Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous are literally insane. You've got pages and pages of choices to go through. 12 species, 26 classes, each with multiple subclasses and the ability to choose multiple classes at the same time. Then you'll have to build your background, choose stats, drop points into skills, select feats, and then finally choose your alignment. All of these choices can significantly change how you'll play the game, what storylines you'll see, and how much fun you'll be having for the next month or so of your life. No wonder we have to keep starting over and trying again. This is just too big of a burden for one player to bear. Next at number 3, coming from that, games are meant to be beaten. Even the toughest games like Elden Ring can be finished, even if it feels like sometimes it's impossible. But there's too much at stake when playing some games. I have to know what happens when I make a choice. I have to know if siding with a faction in Starfield is going to permanently change the story, or if there's a way to change fate before a big character death in Alan Wake or something. Like, games are so full of mystery. You never know when an insignificant detail might totally change the nature of the game.
And put in your time, and you're guaranteed UC citizenship and everything that comes with it. Discounts on UC goods and medical services, chance to own a place in New Atlantis.
So we're looking up guides before even attempting to interact with the game. Some people do this. You may be guilty of this. Hit a puzzle you can't solve? Look up a guide. See a weird door with a strange symbol? Google it. We don't do this for every game, but the allure of guides is everywhere online. It's always there. All it takes is one quick keystroke and you'll have the bottomless well of the internet and information to drink from. Some games are telling us how to solve puzzles before we have time to even process them. Looking at you, God of War Ragnarok. But then there's The Witness, which throws you on an island with no explanation and leaves you to just wander around. Solving puzzles is fun, but sometimes we're desperate to get to the next big thing. Get a move on, Grandpa, we got stuff to do. When our patience is wearing thin, it's time for a guide sometimes. I know the developers spent a lot of time on these puzzles, but some people just look it up. Now at number 2, games like Wolf 3D and Doom didn't just have difficulty levels. We're not talking about easy, normal, and hard here. These games had stuff like Don't Hurt Me and Bring 'em On modes. The challenge here is totally implicit. Choose the lower difficulty and you're a big baby. Do you want to cry, you big baby? No. As big, strong gamer boys and girls, we can beat any difficulty level, no matter how hard. And no, we're not gonna lower it. Games like Devil May Cry 5 almost immediately ask if you want to lower the difficulty after just like a death or two. And that's the kind of humiliation we'll never accept. Other games like Metal Gear Solid 5 reward you with a chicken hat if you turn it on in the settings. You look ridiculous, but you'll be able to run around and get spotted multiple times without setting off an alarm. In Super Mario 3D World, if you die 5 times in a row, you'll get an invincibility leaf. It's like adding training wheels to your bicycle. Accessibility in games is great. Options for difficulty are great, but those that like a challenge or those that are competitive just get mad at this. Or those who just tend to be competitive, they just can't stand being faced with these easy choices. Playing Call of Duty on Realistic or Halo on Legendary might seem like a fun idea at the time until you're neck deep in grenades and needler bolts, dying over and over again for reasons you don't even really understand. That's the high difficulty experience. The game might not be fun when it's that hard sometimes, but we're gonna keep pounding our head into that wall no matter what. Even if the game asks, hey man, you wanna turn the difficulty down? No. Now at number 1, one of the biggest gamer problems we've experienced is a matter of perspective. We've all played a game we hated and finished it anyway. Games are long and they just seem to keep getting longer. Games we've talked about already here today, like Baldur's Gate 3 and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, can take up to 100 hours or even more for a single playthrough. If you're gonna stick around that long, the game better be good. Not all games are good though, unfortunately. And we've all played a game we hated and just kept going, hoping that maybe we might hit something interesting or the game will improve. Maybe you'll get better gear to make it cooler. After 50 hours, you're in the bargaining stage. You're praying that something will click and make you like it. Maybe you spent 60, 70 bucks on this game and damn it, you're gonna see it through. But really, like, you've just locked yourself in a purgatory of your own making. You don't have to play a game you hate. You can just quit, uninstall it, return it, delete it off your hard drive. I don't know. But sometimes, and we see it in comment sections, being angry about a bad game is fun for some people. Once we're halfway through a game, there's no stopping this train. We're winning whether we want to or not. Like, all the cutscenes are getting skipped in something like Metroid Other M when you just hate the story. Maybe you're bored and you're skipping through some of the dialogue in Mass Effect Andromeda. Or you're just downloading mods to make a game either easier just to get through and finish it, or just make it cooler. Playing games we don't actually really want to play is that weird gamer psychosis we've all been afflicted with at least one point or another. Those are 10 gamer problems many of us are guilty with. The jury has us sentenced and they've thrown away the key. Look, it doesn't make these things right, but we got to acknowledge them. If you have your own awful gamer problems you need to confess, let us know in the comments. We're just eager to learn how deep this well goes. But if you like talking games with us every day, clicking the like button's all you got to do. It really helps us out. And if you're new, maybe consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell, because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.